Hello, welcome back to the channel. I have a little candle here today. I thought that might add a little bit to the setup. You can see my messy stacks of books. Let's make that a little nicer, a little bit more intentional. Yeah, so I'm filming a little bit on the late side. The sun's about to set, but I only just got my stuff together to film. Yeah, I have so many videos I need to edit and figure out when I'm gonna post them, but today I'm doing an update for my Pan That palette. Woo! So I entered this in December, a little bit early just to get a head start on it, and because I was really excited about it, and I've been keeping track of all of my uses for the past month in my panning notebook, and I have a whole section in my spreadsheet just dedicated to this project so I can keep track easily. I don't think you can see it all, but all my uses and everything. So I'm gonna go through. There are a couple shades I didn't work on at all this year, and or this month, and I'm fine with that. That's kind of my intention, was to pick a subset of these shades, work it into like my magnetic palette or whatever, and then I don't need to worry about the other ones until I feel like I want to use them. So let's just get into it. So, all right, there are 13 shades I want to use them completely, and 3 I'm just putting in here so I can track and get lots and lots of use on them. So I'm going to go through the 13 first. First of all is the 11th shade from the Curly Bible palette. This is what it's looking like now. I'll show comparison pictures, I think. I've definitely expanded the pan. I think I should look at the actual pictures from my introduction, which I think I posted on Instagram. Yeah, I've expanded the pan. I probably have used up more than half of this eyeshadow at this point, and hopefully in like 2 months maybe this will be done, but I'm not rushing it. I've used this 21 times, which I feel like is pretty darn good. It did, I think, come with me when I was traveling, but I didn't wear makeup a lot. So yeah, basically almost every time I do my makeup I use this, but I'm not like rushing to finish it. Next is the shade Vermeer from my ABH Modern Renaissance palette. This is what it's looking like. I think I've expanded the pan maybe a little bit, but not a lot. I have used this a decent amount. I've used it 17 times. I usually use it as an inner corner highlight, which doesn't require a ton. I have worn it as a face highlight once, so I might do that a little bit, but not a ton. But yeah, I'm happy. I think there's not, like, I've also worn it down evenly a little bit, but the progress will come when it comes. I'm not too worried. Next is the 9th shade from my Curly Bible palette. It's this purple shimmer. I think I've expanded the pan maybe a little bit, but definitely not a ton. I have used this 11 times, which I feel like is not bad for a month, but definitely not tons of use. I really love this shimmer. I'm wearing it today. I'm actually wearing a lot of these shades today, but yeah, I'm not worried about this one. This is my like second to most used shade from that palette, and it's chugging along. Next is the 7th shade from the Curly Bible palette. I've only used this 7 times. The middle of the pan is definitely more expanded from when I first hit pan on it, and like I think a tiny bit from when I rolled it into this project. But yeah, this is definitely going to take some use. I've been way more into cool tones and like browns this month, so not a ton of like peachy pinks, but I'm wearing this today. Actually, I think I have some ways I can really love it, and especially once I get out of winter, this will get a lot more use. Next is the shade Golden Ochre. This has not really changed anything visually, I don't think, from last month when I rolled it in. I have used it 10 times, which is like way more than I expected. I have reached for it here and there when I'm doing brown or kind of green looks. I'm not wearing it today. I might be wearing a little bit of it today, honestly. But yeah, I'm not too worried about this, especially like I use shades like this a lot, and it's easy to blend with other shades to make it less yellow, but not a ton of use so far. Next is the shade Warm Taupe. This is what it looks like now. I have a nice big pan. I definitely think the pan has expanded, although I've also done a bit of usage not in any one particular area. I might try and like expand towards the edges of things more this next month and like set intentions to see that visible progress, but for now I've just kind of been using them wherever. I've used this a lot. I've used it 19 times. I usually, if I wear it, I will wear it on my eyes and in my eyebrows. Today I'm just wearing it in my eyebrows, but yeah, it usually gets two uses per day, which I count as one use. And I just dropped it. But yeah, I love the shade. It's a great neutral brown and I will keep using it. I think it'll be easy to use up. Next is the shade Kessie. I haven't used this at all, so I'm not even gonna go into it. After that is the shade Mink from my True Naked Nudes palette. I have used this 6 times and you can see, I think, a little bit of disturbance, but basically nothing really visible. I think I want to try and focus on this in the next month and like get a dip going, maybe even hit pan. I'm not quite sure how deep it is. And that will be my intention for this, so that I can have pan in all of these shades instead of all but one. Next is the shade Buon Fresco, also from the ABH Modern Renaissance. This is what it looks like. I think there has been some pan expansion towards the kind of corners. That's mostly where I've been dipping, but not a ton. I have already hit side pan. I hit that in my rolling project this past year. I've used this 14 times, which I feel like is not bad. I'm wearing it today. I'm painting a lot of purples right now, so this has gone well for the most part with those shades, and I love it. Next is the shade Shaggorath, and this has the most visual progress, I think you can tell, because this is super thin in the pan. I think I might be able to use this up in 1 or 2 months. Definitely 2, maybe 1. But yeah, it's a little bit funny because it's got a very cool toned reflection, but a super like warm pink and much darker base. So it's a little tricky to use, but I enjoy it. And I have 11 uses on it. So yeah, a lot of progress for 11 uses. And if I use it even more, I think I can make even more progress. So let's see, maybe I can finish this up by next month and that would be exciting. Next is this Mysterious Gold Single, also very shallow in the pan. I've definitely had some decent pan expansion, but I have only used it 7 times and I've mostly been kind of very gently kind of pressing it down. There were a couple of like little bits in it last time. So yeah, this is pretty good. I'm hoping I can use this up pretty quickly, but because I don't love like really warm golds right now, it's probably gonna take a while until I like really focus on it and try and finish it. But I'm hoping to keep expanding the pan, using it a couple times. All right, next is the 15th shade from the Carly Bible palette. This is what it's looking like. It's got a nice pan in there. It's definitely expanded some, and also I just feel like the dip in general is a little wider. But yeah, this is definitely gonna be a challenge. I'm still getting used to working with it. I've worn it 16 times in the past month, which is pretty darn good. I feel like every time there's like a deep outer corner shade and it's anything close to brown that I need, I use this. This is definitely a challenge for me. I feel like I wanted to include a shade that I thought would be a challenge in this way, like a dark brown, and I figured if I just focus on this as a dark brown for the whole year, maybe I can do it. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the progress so far. Pretty pleased with 16 uses. I didn't bring this with me traveling, so I didn't even have access to it for a lot of time. And I can use it in my brows a little bit. It's a little bit warm, but yeah, I'm pleased with that progress for now. So the final eyeshadow that I'm trying to finish is this Super Shock Shadow in the shade Amaze. I've only used this 2 times in the past month, so pretty much no progress. Yeah, this has dried out a lot, and so I'm gonna try and revive it. I don't know that I have anything super good for the job. I know Duraline works really well, but I don't have that, so we will see. It's just like, it's always been pretty crumbly, like since I started panning, it's been crumbly, but now it's just like not even like picking up on my finger very well. So hopefully if I work like an oil into it, maybe. I'm watching the makeup breakup video about reviving Super Shock shadows right now, but I had to stop to film this video before the sun sets and everything gets super dark. But yeah, hoping to revive this a little bit. It might expand a little bit, it might get pressed flat into a pan, and then I can get some good progress on it. But I have less than half of this, so I'm pretty sure by the end of the year I can do something decent. Okay, finally the last 3 shadows that I'm not trying to finish. 2 of them I haven't worked on at all. That's Antique Bronze, which still has just like a little tiny pan, and this is the 7th shade from the Carly Bible palette, or no, 6th. Yeah, this is basically the same as Vermeer, so I'm like, I'm not going to work on them both at the same time. Those have no progress at all, but the other shade, which is the 14th shade from the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette, this dark brown, which I just nicked with my fingernail right before filming this video has some progress. I think it has a little bit of pan expansion. You can definitely see the pan a little bit better now. And I've used it 11 times, which I feel like is really good. I actually really like this shadow. It's just like a warm dark brown shimmer. I love using it on the outer corner when I have any sort of brown anything in there, which is what I have on today. And yeah, very excited by that. So that's everything. I guess I will set some goals on a couple of these eyeshadows for the next month. I think I would like to hit side pan on this cream shadow. It's like mostly, my pan is mostly centered, but it definitely is thinner right here. So I'm going to try and expand that way and hit side pan. I think that will be a good goal. I'd also like to hit side pan somewhere near this corner on Warm Taupe. I love this shade and I use it a lot, so I think that will be pretty straightforward. I'd like to clear out, oh my gosh. I'd like to clear out one of the corners of one fresco. I don't really care which, but I think, I don't know, this one seems a little bit shallower, but this one's a little bit thinner, so we'll see one of them. And like I said, I'd like to make a dip or hit pan in mink, and I feel like that will be a good goal. And then everything else I'm just gonna use as I want to, as I see fit. And yeah, I think I used every shade that I was working on. Of all the shades that I was actively working on, I used all of them at least 6 times, except for Amaze. So I think my goal is going to be, for all the ones that I choose to work on, which I'm not going to necessarily pick out right now, but like I know if I'm not working on them, like I know I'm not working on these 3 at all right now. These are, oh my gosh, you can't see. I'm not working on these 3 at all right now, so I'm not worrying about that. But of everything I choose to work on, which for now has been all of the other shades, I'd like to get at least 5 uses. And that might be a challenge for Amaze, but that'll motivate me to figure out how to revive it a little bit and get more use on it. But yeah, everything else, we'll just see how it goes. Like I said, hopefully I can get Sugar Wrath out in a couple months. And yeah, that will be it. So let me know if there's anything else you want to hear about in this project, if you want me to hold them up in a magnetic palette instead of individually or anything like that. Hopefully I'll figure out how to do the comparisons in a satisfying way, even though there isn't a ton of progress right now. But I'm very excited to hopefully have some empties coming soon, and even more progress on everything else, and just to see how much I can really pan in a year. I'm very excited about all of these possibilities. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.